Your carry-on isn't too small. It could be your packing method. Hi, I'm Josie. I've been packing carry-on only for over 25 years, and I'm here to show you how you can too. I'm going to break down 3 main packing methods and go through when they actually make sense. People stick to one way of packing, and it may not make sense for every trip. The first method a lot of people use is the folding and rolling method. And the reason why they use this is because it's the easiest to start with. You don't need any special gear and you're simply folding and rolling your clothing in your suitcase. This method works really well when you're packing casual, soft, non-bulky clothing, and it reduces air gaps in your suitcase. It's easy just to keep cramming things in and using all your suitcase space. You can pack things very densely and things aren't going to shift around that much. What it's not good for is packing bulky items like sweaters. They aren't going to roll up well, and even when you fold them, they're going to take up a lot of room. Other things that don't really work for this method are really stiff or voluminous items. They're just not going to condense as well as other clothing items. And the other disadvantage is that if you've packed it well, it's easy to overpack. You can pack a lot using this method, and just because you can pack a lot doesn't mean you should take a lot. The second method is packing cubes, and packing cubes are all about organizing. Give your suitcase a drawer-like feel, and it's really easy to categorize each packing cube by tops, bottoms, sleepwear. And I like them if you're moving around from place to place. It's really easy to keep things organized, and if you are unpacking, you can just throw everything in a drawer or a cabinet and easily grab the category of packing cube that you need. And the way you can pack your packing cubes is to use the larger cubes for bulkier items, the medium cubes for tops, and the smaller cubes for smaller items like socks, underwear, and swimwear. I find that packing cubes work best for items that aren't bulky. These are great because of the organization and how they contain things. And they make unpacking really simple, and you can just open the packing cube and see what you need and grab it. So when these don't work is if you're not using compression packing cubes, they take up a lot of room and they're taking up a specific amount of space. So it's hard to maximize the space, in my opinion, in your suitcase. One good thing that I've noticed about using packing cubes though is if TSA has to inspect your luggage, it's really easy for them to just move items and look into your suitcase versus if they're just grabbing your clothes and then moving things around to inspect your suitcase. The third item is compression sacks, and that's what I've been moving towards lately. And this is why. What I've come to realize as a size 12 mid-sized traveler is that my clothes are bigger, so I really need to make the most use out of my suitcase. Even with the travel capsule, even with paying attention to fabrics, there's just a lot of fabric. So the compression sacks have been really working well for me, and they're now part of my carry-on strategy. Because you are compressing the clothing so tightly, you're removing all that air, and this method works best if space is tight or if you're having to pack bulky items. Think sweaters, knits, outer layers, and I also find the compression sacks good for multi-climate travel, because in multi-climate travel, you're going to be packing bulkier items to deal with colder weather. And the compression sacks really reduce that volume in your suitcase or your backpack. Compression sacks are really all about saving space. However, the trade-offs are big when it comes to compression sacks. That's why they aren't for everyone. The biggest for most people is the wrinkles. Because everything is so compressed, yes, there are going to be wrinkles. I'm okay with that. If you're not, don't even think about it. The second issue with the compression sacks is that you are stuffing all your items in the sack. So if you need to get to something, you're going to have to empty it completely. So that is a trade-off. And of course, you're losing that visual organization because you can't see what's in there and you're going to have to pull things out to get to what you need. I'm not here to tell you that there's one best method. I'm just here to remind you that what works for one trip may not work for another because you may have different needs for the trip. How do you decide which packing method is best for you? If you need flexibility and want to use every inch of your suitcase, that's when folding and rolling works best. If you want organization, packing cubes are the way to go. And if you really need that suitcase space and make every inch count, then compression sacks are the answer. So you decide based on the clothing volume of the clothes that you're packing, your itinerary, and your bag size. There's no right or wrong way to pack. There's really just what works best for you. Tell me in the comments what your favorite way to pack is.